Welcome to Building Fortunes Radio. Make sure you check us out at buildingfortunesradio.com. Along with KISK, our Keep It Simple Circle marketing partners, we are here to help our Youmongus AM and Youmongus FM radio customers build their businesses and make the world a better place. At Building Fortunes Radio, we know how much your business means to you and the people important to you. So join us to make the world a better place. Spread the word, tell a friend, and go make a difference in your world. Now on to our show with your host, Peter Mingils. Take it away, Peter.
Hello, everyone. Peter Mingils here. You are listening to me all by myself tonight on Building Fortunes Radio. We have Friday night, if you will. It's, July 24th of 2026, and a good friend of mine, his name is Jean-Luc, and I usually do a radio show. It's after 11 o'clock. And he asked for the night off, and I just saw the text message, so I figured, you know what? Since I was planning on being here anyway with my good friend Jean-Luc, and he's not here, might as well give you guys an update, and also just test a few different things. So, for my own testing purposes, I'm using my cell phone with the noise-canceling headset, and we're going to test, if you will, to see what sounds better in just a second. So now I'm going to test the headset. Here we go. This is going to be the regular microphone.
So now we're on the regular microphone. And for those people that are wondering, here we are on the regular microphone. Let's go see. So this is the Yeti microphone that we have. It's probably supposed to be a little bit better. And I'm going to kind of toggle back and forth just to do a little bit of a sound check. So we'll use you guys that might be listening in just for a little bit of a sound check. Here we go.
And now I am back on the noise canceling headset. This is my cell phone, so we'll see which one sounds better. Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. And I'm going to switch back and do the rest of the show on the other microphone. This is like the digital microphone that you probably should be using. So here we go.
Whoops. So this is the digital microphone, the Yeti microphone, probably the one I'm supposed to be using most of the time anyway, but it doesn't have the noise canceling, so you might hear some things in the background. So here we go. So let me give you a little bit of an update of what's going on with Building Fortunes Radio. For those people that are listening in, we started in 2012. We actually started with a friend of ours. Her name is Dawn, and I wanted to learn podcasting, so we did it under the Dash Radio. So we used Blog Talk Radio when we first got started, did some on the Dash. And that was really a lot of fun and very helpful for me and her. Our content, though, was a little bit different. So I said to Dawn, I got to do an additional radio show on my own. And that's when Building Fortunes Radio started. So we're using the Blog Talk Radio platform for a long time. The benefit of that was we could do live radio shows. I figured out how to kind of manipulate their system so we could do 4 30-minute radio shows a day. They were instantly posted to the Blog Talk Radio platform. I never believed in letting anybody really own my own content, so that while we were willing to let them publish it in all different places, I still wanted to own my own content, which, by the way, a dozen years later wound up being a very smart decision on my part. So we always put it on buildingfortunesradio.com as well. Well, Blog Talk Radio went out of business. Not that the whole company went out of business, but that division went out of business for whatever reason. And there was no replacement. So we wound up doing something a little bit different. We record our radio shows now, which is actually better for me because it gives me and our guests a lot of flexibility. We still post them on Building Fortunes Radio, but that forced me to learn how to get it rebroadcasted in all the different places that the Blog Talk Radio platform used to plaster them. And I found that we could not only do what Blog Talk Radio was doing, but we could do it better and more. So that's what we do now. And then I also always own the buildingfortunes.net or buildingfortunesradio.net domain name. So I decided, well, why don't we put the same content on buildingfortunesradio.net as well? And there's many reasons for me to be able to do that. And for some people that may not understand why, and you just, it's not the thing that you do. It just really made sense that we had a totally different domain name with the same content on a totally different server. So for search engines, SEO, all that sort of stuff, that just made a lot of sense. Well, a long time ago, I was in the lead generation business mostly exclusively. That's where we generated most of our income. And we had a product which we called our LMS, our lead management system. And I wanted to do some websites that our customers could basically edit on their own. So that was our next phase. So we called it phase 2. And then phase 2 was really good. It had a domain name, Your Own Economy. And it talked about the reasons why you'd want to have your own thing, your own gig. And that was way back before many people thought about it. So I was able to buy youroWneconomy.com, still own it today. And when I did that, it was really designed to be a very simple site. You basically didn't have to do anything with it. It was just like instant pudding. You just peel off the lid and you'll be able to go for it. And then I realized that I wanted more. So if I wanted more, I figured you would want more. So when we did it, we said, well, now we'll have phase 3. So because we had phase 2, right? So we didn't have a phase 1. Phase 1 was automatic. But when I did the next phase, we needed a phase 2. Then I came up with phase 3. And then I said to myself, well, what am I going to do? My next product have phase 4? And then phase 5? Could you imagine the challenges? Customers trying to remember which one they're on? Eventually we'll be on phase 87. So I said, I got to come up with a name that would make some sense for me, that would be a little bit on the fun side, and also exemplify just about anything I wanted to put in it. And after thinking for a little bit and a long time, I wound up with the word Youmongus. Now, I spelt the word Youmongus the way we would spell it, Youmongus. And then I checked to make sure nobody else did anything like that. So I bought all the Youmonguses I could, Youmongus.com, the way we spell it, Youmongus.com, .net. Then we bought, we figured if it's going to be Youmongus, it's going to be really big, I would want Youmongus Radio and Youmongus Movies and Youmongus everything. Youmongus Ad Network, Youmongus Ads. So we bought YoumongusAds.com, Youmongus Ads, ads.net, .biz, and a whole bunch of other things with the words Youmongus in it. So I figured that'd be pretty cool, because when you're talking to people, you could say, well, do you want a Youmongus business or do you want an itty-bitty business? It was a lot of fun. Most people will want something Youmongus. And I playfully have learned how to make some music. So if you go to buildingfortunesradio.com, click on music, and you look for the Building Fortunes Radio music link, you'll be able to hear that we sprinkle in the word Youmongus, and we playfully say, it's really big. So that's kind of like what we've been working on. So I bought YoumongusRadio.com, and then I wanted to have AM and FM in the domain names. So we actually bought Youmongus.radio.am and Youmongus.radio.fm. And no one's ever done anything like that I know of before, kind of really branded. So we got Youmongus Radio and those other ones that I mentioned. I said, you know what we'll do? We'll figure out a way how to post whatever we post on Building Fortunes Radio onto many or all of those other radio show stations. And we'll blast all of those independent domain names out on all the major platforms, Amazon's Music and Audible and Apple. They changed it from iTunes to podcast. And then we'll do all the other big ones and small ones, Player FM, Spotify, big one, right? Then we did iHeartRadio, and we do a lot of little ones too. So if it looks like we're everywhere, it's probably because we are. And then we blend all of these things using our integrated marketing principles into some of our other specialty websites. It would make sense that we kind of talk to each other. So we make sure that the Youmongus ads go into the Building Fortunes Radio platform and vice versa. And we do it on all the different things. So we kind of win the search engine game. So for many of you that might be looking either for me or one of our guests, you will find us everywhere. And I'm not kidding. Some people say, I can get you on the first page of Google. I'm like, that's lightweight. Really, seriously? We'll get you dominating first pages of Google or Bing or Yahoo or DuckDuckGo or any of the other big and small search engines as well. So we really do a great job in blending them in. And then we'll also have some specialty websites. For instance, we do a radio show series with Stephen Lukowski. Stephen with a PH, Lukowski, Lukawski. When Stephen and I first got started, he was a guest host on one of our Citizens for Health radio show segments, and he's known as Captain Cran Man. the king of cranberries. And he's really good. He's been selling those natural ingredients for like 35 million years. And slight exaggeration, has been certainly over 30. And he's really good at what he does. And when he first started with us, he would post on his LinkedIn. And his LinkedIn has over 30,000 followers. So he's been really good at deliberately and consistently posting on his LinkedIn. And by doing that, he's got a really good following. So he did a radio show with a gentleman named James Gormley. James unfortunately passed away. I called Stephen and told him. And that led into our Kisk My Health radio show series. So Kisk My Health is a name that we came up with that came from a little bit of branding with our Kisk radio show. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to play something about Planet Cranberries, a little commercial, showing you some of the things that we do. And I'll be right back after this little commercial break.
You've been listening to the Kisk My Health radio show on Building Fortunes Radio and the Youmongus Radio Network. If you are interested in the world's best AI receptionist and AI business building platform, you will want to get your AI receptionist from Youmongus.com. Go to the specials page on Youmongus.com. That's YOUMONGUS.com/specials. Explore how small business owners and major corporations are using Youmongus AI receptionists to do everything from answering incoming calls to scheduling appointments and even answering customer service questions. Your AI receptionist can do everything from making sure you never miss a call to texting reminders and follow-ups and even upgrading and closing more sales. Your AI receptionists will help you increase your productivity in just about everything. Kisk My Health Radio suggests you have to check them out on the specials page on Youmongus.com. That's YOUMONGUS.com/specials. You can make your world a better place and help others do the same with the AI receptionists at Youmongus.com. Now, back to our Kisk My Health radio show. Take it away, Peter.
Okay, so that is our Kisk My Health AI Specials commercial. So we play that during the radio show that we do with Kisk My Health. And Kisk My Health started off as a result of, like I said, Stephen Lukowski, Captain Cranman, doing the things that he was doing. When James Gormley passed away, and Stephen was a gentleman who was a guest on James Gormley's radio show that I do with Citizens for Health. And we decided that we wanted to do a memorial for James, but I sprinkled in the idea that we're writing our Kisk book, K-I-S-C, which for me stands for our Keep It Simple Circle. So Kisk, K-I-S-C. I own Kisk.business, Kisk.life, because you probably have a Keep It Simple Circle for your business, then you have a Keep It Simple Circle list of activities for your life. So I own both domain names. And we also, I think we own Kisk.news. I'm not sure if we do. We own a lot of .news domain names like MLM.news and directselling.news and healthcoach.news and healthfood.news and alternativehealthcare.news and a whole bunch of other domain names as well. Well, Stephen and I said, we have to do some radio shows. He says, what we should do, Peter? We should memorialize James Gormley in his passing, but also since he's in the natural ingredients business, we should interview people that Stephen knows. These are the people that make a difference in your world, whether you realize it or not, because they're the natural ingredients providers, the labs that test for quality, the chemists that do the formulations, all of those things. So whether you're an MLM or not an MLM, I'm telling you, we probably have done a personal interview with someone that makes a difference in your world one way or another, whether it's probiotics, prebiotics, postbiotics, whether it's cranberries, or even things like stevia. Pure, P-Y-U-R-E, is our corporate sponsor on our Kisk My Health side. And these are all the things that we've been building over the years that you may or may not have been able to keep up with. I'll share with you, most people can't keep up with the different things that we've worked on. And there's hundreds of domain names. We've done 13,000 30, 60, or 90-minute interviews. So there's very few people that can really do the things that we've done before. Starting from scratch would be impossible for somebody to be able to catch up. So having said that, with Stephen, when we started to do some of the things on kiskmyhealth.com, so K-I-S-C, myhealth.com, we also picked up some other corporate sponsors. People like Greenvit, which is a manufacturing facility over in Poland. People like Sabinsa, which is a huge company on like 3 out of the 7 different continents, I think, or 4 out of the 7 different continents. We work with Step Change Innovations. We work with RFI Ingredients, Planet Cranberry pretty soon, and a whole bunch of other things as well. So we've been all over the place. The Pure guys make stevia that you'll buy in Walmart. So we've done everything from, all over the place. You got to listen to Kisk My Health. Well, one of the sponsors we also picked up was like Whole Foods Magazine. Whole Foods Magazine was around before Whole Foods, and they post, if you will, our radio shows in their magazine all the time. So if it looks like we're everywhere, we've grown a lot since we got started with that itty-bitty, if you will, Building Fortunes radio show that we started off with in 2012, and have been growing with ever since. Well, I wanted to do audio only. Number one, I don't think I'm an anti-social media guy, but I kind of am. I don't need the camera on me. I know what I look like. I do so many of these things and multitask while I'm doing so many of these things. I need to be able to sometimes, pick up my phone, if I'm doing it from my phone, and be able to go answer the door for an in-home delivery, or be able to, let the dog out. Because, again, this is a home-based business, and that's what you do when you're doing home-based businesses. And I work all the time. So if I'm doing radio shows all the time, I'm going to be doing stuff all the time. And sometimes, techie guys are going to call me up and say, this server needs to be rebooted. Can I do that? Or this is going over here. Can we do that? Or, oh, shoot, you got to do something with the SSL certificate on a different domain name. So I'm a lot smarter than I ever wanted to be on the technology side. So I needed something that I could do from like a cell phone, like you guys could do from a cell phone if you're driving around or wherever you are. So that's one of the reasons why we do audio only, because video is more technical, more of a pain in the neck. And quite honestly, I don't think you need to see what I look like every time I do a radio show. I look more or less the same as the previous radio show. So I like audio. Now that prevented us, if you will, from putting us on YouTube, because YouTube is video and audio, right? So for those people who aren't familiar, right, you're familiar with that. You watch YouTube and you're seeing something, although many of you don't really look at it. You just listen to it as you go along, like I do many times. I'll put YouTube on and walk around and either wash the floor, do the kitchen. Well, I could be walking around anywhere. So I figured, what we have to do? We have to figure out how to put our how to put our audios on Building Fortune Radio or any of the other ones on YouTube. And that was a really pain in the butt process, because I had to figure out how to take an image, attach it to an audio file, make a movie out of it, then export the movie, and then upload it to YouTube or anywhere else we wanted to. That was a pain in the neck and very time consuming. And quite honestly, there wasn't enough hours in the day. So we found a program recently in July of 2026 that could do that for us automatically. And we're still kind of figuring it out. So it's kind of quirky, but we're still kind of figuring it out. And, that's kind of like what you do before you do anything, right? It kind of gets quirky before you figure it out, especially when it comes to technology. So we're putting it on our Building Fortunes Radio YouTube channel. So if you go to buildingfortunesradio.com, you can see anything there. But if you go to youtube.buildingfortunesradio, you'll be able to see us there as well. I figured, oh, shoot, since we're doing video now, might as well be able to do it on Facebook. And I'm not a big Mark Schmuckerberg fan, but I realize a lot of people are. So, did you like to look on Facebook? So I said, okay, we'll do that. So we have a Facebook channel, Building Fortunes Radio. So if you go to buildingfortunesradio.com if you go to facebook.com/Building Fortunes Radio, you'll be able to see the ones that we're posting over there as well. We haven't figured it out. Sometimes it'll go through the archives, and sometimes it'll do the future shows, and sometimes we do both. And then we're learning a couple of different things, so we might start one and stop one. So if you see a little bit of repetition, it's okay. We're just figuring it out. If you're listening in July of 2026, you get a chance to take a look at, hey, this is where they started, and this is where they modified things, or, oh, I see what they changed over here. So we're kind of tweaking it as we go along, but once we tweak it, we'll have it perfect, and then we won't have to worry about it. That's what automation is good for. And, of course, we've learned how to use AI. So I use AI in a lot of the posts. I use AI for a lot of the research. We use AI for a lot of the images. We also use AI for some of, believe it or not, and I don't, my techie guy, Jeffrey, does a lot of this stuff. So I want to give Jeffrey a shout out. He does a really good job. He's figured out how to do WordPress plugins using AI. So we have the most kick-ass audio player you have ever seen. It is really good. It is really good. It's a Youmongus player, you would call it. It is really good. And that player allows you to easily kind of take a look at different things and have one song run into another song if we have a player list in there as well. It is super duper cool. And we put it on almost all the different platforms that we have it on. And it is super duper neat and super duper cool. So if you see it, and on the cranberry one, you'll see it like cranberry red. And it's been really fun to kind of explore all this stuff. And using AI, I think the way AI is really supposed to be used. For example, if you go to the music link, you'll see that I've made music using a program that is called Suno, S-U-N-O. Many of you are familiar with it. Most of you have never made Suno music on your own. But if you do the right prompts, because the right stuff is in my head, and then you can do stuff, we have the best Suno-made or Suno-generated songs, whereas I did the prompt, meaning the commands. They did the music and the singing, because I don't know music and I don't know singing, but they are so well put together. I listen to my own music all the time. If you go to buildingfortunesradio.com/music, you'll know what I mean. Started off with DONPA, D-O-N-P-A, The Delusion of Non-Productive Activities. I like acronyms. So we have KISS, right, to keep it simple circle. But I also have Too Good to Be True. And recently I did one on if they're not saying yes, they're saying no. And there's other ones that I did on forget about your feelings. So if you go to buildingfortunesradio.com/feelings, you'll see what I mean. So there's some really cool songs in there. I recommend using them for background music, motivational stuff, have a little bit of fun. Hey, you can play it in your barber shop. If you're in a barber shop or wherever else you are, most people will think they're pretty neat. So we have music, and then we use another program for what we call deep dive reviews. When we do our radio shows, we can actually take a deep dive review of that radio show, and it comes out, I'm telling you, I'm so impressed. I mean, I know I did it, but I really just used the tools and perfected the tools with the right prompts and gave it the right raw materials, where we have some of the best deep dives, whether it's a Kiss My Health radio show with maybe somebody talking about health and nutrition or natural ingredients, or whether it's like, for instance, we had Edie Rather. Edie's a gal we've been working with, Edie, E-D-I-E, Rather, R-A-E-T-H-E-R. She's got a domain name by her name. But she's done some great things on the 3-second neuro shift. And she's had a tragedy in her family that is sad. And we used a deep dive. I'm telling you, you got to listen to it. We've done deep dive reviews on the anti-MLM trollers, those gurus that don't like MLM, like Marco Mukaber. And we've really done some deep dives on him and all the lawsuits that he's facing with Primerica and Market America, and even the old one he did with I Am Academy. So you can listen to those and hear kind of some of the stuff that has been done on the background. Very entertaining. Very, very, very entertaining. And then we've even done things with other anti-MLMs like Hannah Alonso, when she kind of got called out for doing a premature YouTube video on Young Living, dropping their MLM business model. She got called out on it, however that worked out. But there's a lot of really great stuff in the deep dives, and we'll do future ones on those as well. So for those people that are familiar with my voice and some of the things that we've done a lot, and we've expanded considerably, not only in the MLM world, but also in the natural ingredients, in the consumer advocacy stuff. We've done a lot of different radio shows on so many different topics. And future radio shows we're doing are with the company, it's Barra AI, and they are doing some stuff with AI to be able to help people with autism. So they're actually using autism as a tool to be able to help people with autism and people supporting autism. We've done other radio shows with like Coach Irvin Harris, basketballcoach.news. and that's a really cool one. We've done other ones with like Kel.news, Terry Kelleher, who's building the biggest platform you'll ever see on Public Access Media Network. And we've done some cool stuff with like Ken Nielsen. He's been a big follower of ours forever. Jean-Luc, our French guy. Go to buildingfortunesradio.com/learn French, and you'll be able to buy stuff from there. We've done some other newer things with like Felix over at W3M Radio and Michael Jacobs at the michaeljacobsradioshow.com. So we're busy and we're expanding. And if you want to be part of that, make sure you reach out to me. So you'll be able to find me everywhere. But if you want to if you want my cell phone number, it would probably be appropriate for me to leave you that now. It's 386-864-1928. 386-864-1928. And we're experimenting with different AI receptionists and things like that. I got about 3 or 4 of them running right now. We're going to pick eventually the best ones. We've tried lots of them, and some of them kind of disappointed us. And then some of them are kind of okay in some areas. So we're still in the hunt for the right AI agent that can do other things. So just like everybody else, we're trying to figure this stuff out. We have Patrick. I don't want to forget Patrick on Thursday nights. He's Innovative Management Tools, IMT we call him. He's great. Patrick Seaton. Check him out on LinkedIn. And let's see who else. Darlene Sartori's been an old customer of ours. She's with the Ideal Network. She's great. She's helping out Tegan and John Sterling in lots of other ways. Let's see. We've done, Amber Black Radio. She's cool. She's a bodybuilder and super smart gal. We've had everything from TJ Mars. TJ Mars really good. urlaw.org is his website, but you go to tjmars.com. TJMARRS.com. He's another one that we've done recently, and we've had, let's see. Oh, Scott Johnson, of course. Scott Johnson. Stop the Amway Tool Scam. Scott's been one of our long-running radio shows as well. He was an Amway distributor, and although Amway, I'm going to share with you my bias. We did radio show interviews for formulators for Amway, like the really smart ones. And they make a great product line, great quality control testing, but their tools business is suspect of being, deceptive in many ways. They're getting called out on it for sure, but Scott Johnson's been dealing with that forever. He's got Stop the Amway Tool Scam, and we do that radio show. That's one of our longest running radio shows. And we've done a whole bunch of other ones as well. Mike Harrington, he's cool. HarringtonInsuranceAgency.com. He deals with everything from final expense to right now he's doing something called mortgage protection insurance. So where MPI protects you, PMI protects the banks. And we've done lots of other radio shows as well. And if I forgot to mention one right now, it's not that I forgot them, but they're great. We've done everything with Nikki Keohoho and the DSWA. We're working on lots of other ones as well. So we're always working on really cool things. So I figured since my friend Jean-Luc called me at the last minute and said, I got something to do, and I haven't done a radio show on my own for like ever, I figured this would be a really good time to kind of check this out. So for those people listening in, I want to say thanks for all your help. Certainly participate. And if you go to any of the platforms that we said a little bit earlier, like, share, follow, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff, because we're doing everything we possibly can to help make the world a better place. And that's a sincere statement. So we got guys that are working on charities. I own the domain name MLM.charity. We have vets.charity as well. We're working with a lot of vets. We're working with a lot of people that handle foster care. We're handling a lot of people, or a lot of things that help with children, all the stuff that's super duper important. Some of the bad stuff that you just don't want to hear about, the sex trafficking and the foster kid, the abuse. And there's a lot of things. It's a pretty dark world in certain places. We're certainly trying to shine a light on some of those things to raise awareness and beat up the bad guys. And we do a lot of things that I'll never admit to beat up the bad guys. So that's just the way it is. So you got to stand up. Like somebody's got to do it. And I've decided a long time ago, we're not going to let the bad guys win. They're working all the time. So we're beating them up. And a lot of the good stuff that we're doing is helping compensate that as well. So we're going to catch up right next time on the Building Fortunes Radio Network and the Youmongus. It's a really big radio show platform. And thanks for listening in. Certainly appreciate it.
You've been listening to Building Fortunes Radio on buildingfortunesradio.com. Thanks for listening. Building Fortunes Radio is part of the Youmongus AM and Youmongus FM radio network. Be sure to check out the buildingfortunesradio.com website to listen to your favorite shows. You can also hear us on Youmongus Radio and wherever you find your favorite podcasts. It's been our privilege to have you listen in. At Building Fortunes Radio, we wish you the success you deserve and are willing to work for.